Jesuitism is the most absolute kind of despotism. The Jesuit-controlled Vatican is the sole owner of all Western corporate countries. Satan, through the Freemasons, owns the Vatican, while the Pope is his slave. Catholicism will be eradicated forever, probably sooner than later in the course of this decennium. Throughout history, the satanic Luciferian Jesuit order has been tied together with war and genocide. The Jesuits were formally removed from many countries, including France and England, but are still widely present in Spain and Italy. Superior General of the Society of Jesus is the official title of the leader of the Roman Catholic religious order, the Jesuits. He is generally addressed as Father General. The position frequently carries the derogatory nickname of the Black Pope. The current Superior General is the Reverend Father Arturo Marcelino Sosa Abascal. The Jesuits in the Roman Catholic Church have altered history and hidden the rest of it by fabricating fairy tales about the Earth's true history. One such lie was about Mary Magdalene, who was in truth the wife of Jesus and bore him two sons with the names Jesus to Justus and Joseph, along with a daughter named Tamar. This knowledge has been suppressed by the Roman Catholic Church. The Church began the procedure of killing scientists in 1600 to change the narrative to serve their goals. The Holy Grail or Sangreal, Grail, is all about the blood of Jesus and about the truth of who is a descendant of whom. Many have made false claims to certain bloodlines, including the Rothschilds and the monarchs. Some believe that Rh-negative blood comes from Christ, and that a large portion of the Basques have this blood type. Jesus was one of the few messengers sent to mankind to enlighten us on what and who we really are, teaching us that, if we are to grow in spirit, we must understand this information and drive out negativism from our planet. Now, major changes are occurring to restore our standing and teach us about what has been done to us by the crime cabal, which includes Draco-reptilians, Greys, and other entities from a universe that has been intentionally hidden from us by these dark beings. Pope Francis is a Jesuit and preached recently that his god is Lucifer, implicating that the Pope is a satanic worshipper. The light workers have restored much of the truth, and they have rectified the Sangreal Treaty of 300 AD, which proclaims that all of Earth's people are sovereign and should be treated as such. This will be the end of the phony Allites and their slave scam that they have been running to the detriment of the people of the world for many centuries. Scientists know that there were nuclear wars thousands of years ago, and that radiation still exists in small quantities in the Middle East as a result thereof. The Roman Pontiff and all his war criminals, some pretending to be Jews, who are in reality Khazarian mafioso, as well as all the royalty, Nazis, and pedophiles, are all in truth Satanists. They hold office in the Vatican, the City of London, Washington District of Columbia, and the United Nations city-state, located in New York City. This information was received from an insider who, for obvious reasons, wishes to remain anonymous. All those in positions of absolute power like the Queen of England, the Rothschilds, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Rockefellers, the Pope, the hidden Jesuit hierarchy, etc. They are all one big happy bloodline family. They are all cousins, nephews, uncles and nieces to each other. I know some of these people, so don't let them fool you. Many readers will be stunned when the truth of our history is revealed in the near future. The Superior General of the Jesuits is the Black Pope. Many may think they are pretty well informed about all of the main players in the conspiracy playing field concerning the various elements of society that control our world from behind the scenes. The most powerful man in this grand conspiracy suppressing the people of our planet is the great Pope named Pepe Orsini, who is a descendant of the powerful ancient Roman papal bloodline family Maximus. There is no one more powerful than the Grey Pope. The papal bloodlines are the secret shadow hierarchy of the Jesuit order that control the Black Pope touted as being the one. Other powerful papal bloodline families are the Breakspear, Samaglia, Farnese, and Aldobrandini. For instance, David Rothschild married into the Aldobrandini family with his marriage to Princess Olympia Aldobrandini. Another influential head is Henry Breakspear, who resides in Macau in China. Most of the papal bloodline family heads live in Asia and India. Both the Black Pope and the White Pope aren't of the papal bloodline, both are commoners. But it is portrayed for the outside that the Black Pope is the commander-in-chief of the world. He is, after the Great Pope, the most powerful man on earth, who rules over maritime laws on business. He controls the banking system, Freemasonry and the secret services, CIA, FBI, NSA, SIS, MI6, Scotland Yard, Mossad, CSIS, DGSE, FSB. The Vatican owns 60% of all Israel lands that has been stolen from the Palestinians and the land of the Temple Mount for their third Temple of Solomon, where they want their throne. He is a part of the Arcana Arcanorum, controlled by the papal bloodlines within the Imori. These bloodlines are the omega point of control. The Arcana Arcanorum is an esoteric system, hidden away from prying eyes, composed of Masons, Rosicrucians, Martinists, mystics and scholars who generally concern themselves with the laws of God and the universe. The Black Pope Adolfo Nicholas Pachin is the superior general of the Society of Jesus' diabolical plan for a new world order. The present Black Pope and superior general of the Jesuits is Arturo Marcelino Sosa Abascal, who controls with his 6 generals the Arcana Arcanorum is an esoteric system. Pope Francis and the Vatican, the Illuminati, Zionists, globalist elites, Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Group, Freemasons, Council of 300 and the Evil Council of Trent. Jesuits' extreme initiation oath, in order to offer an impression of the danger, mentality and control Jesuits exert over us. Below a shortened version of the content of their initiation oath, I declare that I have no opinion or will of myself, but without hesitation I will obey every command I receive from my superiors in the popes and Jesus Christ's militia. I promise further and declare that when the opportunity arises, I will conduct a ruthless war, secretly or publicly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am instructed to do, to exterminate and destroy them of the whole earth, and that I will not spare age, sex, or class, and that I will hang up, burn, boil, cook, peel, strangle, and bury these shameful heretics, rip the stomachs and wombs of their wives, and crush the heads of their children against a wall, for the purpose to destroy their horrible race forever. Enter text in this field. If this cannot be done openly, I will secretly administer the cup with poison, the strangling rope, the steel of the dagger or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity or authority of the person or persons, as I will, at any time, be instructed by an agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Order of Jesuits. The Jesuits also control the Knights Templar, Knights of Columbus and the Knights of Malta. The CIA, FBI, NSA, ACO, MI5, MI6, NCIS, FSB, DGSE, Mossad and every intelligence agency in the world that are Masonic and controlled by the Jesuits. The Jesuits have infiltrated all governments and their leaders like Obama, Malcolm Turnbull, Theresa May, Angela Merkel, Emmanuel Macron, Mariano Rajoy, Mark Rutte, Benjamin Netanyahu, who are only some of the many puppets that carry out Jesuit orders. Superior generals are elected by the General Congregation of the Jesuit Society, summoned upon the resignation, retirement, or death of an incumbent. Superior generals are elected for life and have almost all served life terms, with a few exceptions. A few exceptions were Father Peter Hans Kalvenbach, whose resignation was announced in February 2006. The General Congregation elected his successor, Father Adolfo Nicholas, who was succeeded by Arturo Marcelino Sosa Abascal as the present Superior General of the Jesuit Society. Read more about this. Napoleon Bonaparte, in his memoirs, accurately described his Jesuit masters as follows: "The Jesuits are a military organization and not a religious order. Their chief is a general of an army, not the mere father abbot of a monastery. And the aim of this organization is power. Power in its most despotic form. Absolute power, universal power, power to control the world by the volition of a single man. Jesuitism is the most absolute of despotisms and at the same time the most horrifying initiators of enormous abuses. The general of the Jesuits insists on being master, sovereign, over the sovereigns. Wherever the Jesuits are admitted, they will be masters, cost what it may. Their society is by nature dictatorial, and therefore it is the most irreconcilable enemy of all constituted authority. Every act, every crime, however atrocious, is a meritorious work, if committed for the interest of the Society of the Jesuits, or by the order of the general. The Knights of Malta and the Jesuits worked together. It is important to know the connection. The Knights financed Lenin and Hitler from Wall Street, also using their Federal Reserve Bank headed by Masonic Jews, Warburg in particular. The Knights negotiated the Concordat, a papal treaty, between the Pope and Hitler in the person of Franz von Papen. They also helped top Nazis to escape to North and South America after World War II, under the Paperclub project, with the aid of the persons of James Angleton and Argentina's President Juan Perón. Many Paperclub Nazis were placed in top-secret military institutions in Tonopah, Nevada, known as Area 51. The perfection of the Nazis' anti-gravity aircraft, flying saucers, was to be completed there, among other secret technologies. Operation Paperclub was overseen by America's most powerful Knight of Malta, J. Peter Grace, who was subordinate to the Jesuit-trained Archbishop Spellman, at the American headquarters for the Knights, and at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. Hegelian synthesis of communism versus capitalism. Red China was created by the Rothschilds and chosen to be the poster child and role model for the Illuminati's Hegelian synthesis of communism versus capitalism. Meanwhile, the United States has been purposely beaten down and suppressed. Alien philosophies and a wave of immorality are being used to destroy people's minds, while Wall Street operators continue their Ponzi scheme of manipulation. The Federal Reserve, under direction of Jewish bankers Ben Bernanke and later Janet Yellen, regularly transmits boatloads of electronic cash to foreign banks in China. Thanks to this infusion of dollars, along with the trillions of dollars brought in from stolen Iraqi oil, the Chinese economy is galloping ahead, roaring upwards with a 10% gain annually. But the crippled Western economy continues its downward slide into oblivion, and a final economic crash could be precipitated by the elite at any moment. Gold could save Western economies, although China's HSBC Bank has a tight grip on the gold markets. For certain, oil won't save the USA, as environmentalist bureaucrats deny drilling permits to US oil companies, while China has recently built 25 new oil refineries, and its storage tanks are bulging with stolen Iraqi oil. The one thing that truly matters: the astonishing economic and military growth of the Illuminati's triad of evil means that we may be approaching the final stages of our prophetic history. Let us then all keep our eyes fixed on the prophecies of the Holy Bible and fix our hearts and minds on the one thing that truly matters: our relationship to Jesus Christ. The Cold War has been created to apply worldwide the Jesuits' Hegelian dialectic, that is thesis and antithesis, to set up the free world in the West versus the communist bloc in the East. The American Empire was to head the West, and the Russian Empire was to lead the East. Both sides were to be financed by the Jesuits' international banking cartel centered in London and New York, by the Federal Reserve and Chase Manhattan banks in particular, both owned by the Rothschilds. This synthesis was to be the destruction of the American empire through the so-called ending of the Cold War. The illusion of the ending the Cold War would legally enable Rome's corporate monopolies, federated together in New York City under the leadership of the Council on Foreign Relations, to give Russia and China high technology and financial backing. With this in place, the war machines of both economically communist and politically fascist giants, for the purpose of invading North America, would have been perfected. It is for this reason that the financial might of Hong Kong was given to Red China, along with an American naval base in Long Beach, California. While the Panama Canal, built with American blood, sweat, tears and yellow fever, was given away to Panama, to be manned by Chinese soldiers imperiling the American Navy. The Jesuits are in control of most of the multinationals. The Jesuits, in control of Washington, have established nationwide gun registration laws for the explicit purpose of future nationwide gun confiscation, just as they did in Hitler's Germany. They are also in control of most of the international corporations that are managed and financed by the Knights of Malta, through which they continue to build both the Russian and Chinese war machines, while influencing American presidents to close down scores of military installations across the country. These facts spell a planned invasion, a massive invasion by millions of foreign soldiers, with no God and no mercy. And if the Jesuits can manage to blow up the dome of the Temple Mountain in Jerusalem and blame the American Empire for it, the Arabs will declare a holy war against the great Satan. The private wealth of Westerners by means of international financial business corporations with bank accounts in the Bahamas will be seized just as they were in Castro's Cuba. The Knights have moved all their wealth into offshore banks, thereby escaping the coming economic catastrophe. Meanwhile, as the Jesuits, with their American dictatorial internal police force, FEMA, and foreign invaders, are extirpating the execrable race of Western heretics and liberals, the European nations will be driven to put aside their historical differences and unify. This unification will restore the Holy Roman Empire, for which reason the Jesuits are rapidly rebuilding Rome. When the smoke clears, China will control the East, Russia will control the North, and a unified Roman Catholic Europe will control the West. The Pope's international intelligence community will see to it that Jerusalem is declared an international city with the rebuilt Temple of Solomon in her midst. World government will ensue, and the Jesuits' blessed despotism of the Dark Ages will have descended upon us, with the Pope being the universal despot of the world, so appropriately described in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, while being the world authority of the documents of Vatican II.